December 2022. Welcome to the lunchtime news here on TV1 for the News First team, where the people come first. I'm Senika Senana. Before we take a look at the stories that we've got for you this afternoon in detail, let's take a look at the headlines. Reports on the sugar tax scam to the Criminal Investigations Department. It is time for an election, a statement from former Minister Basil. CEB trade unions up in arms over proposal to hike electricity tariffs.
ජනතාව බදු ගෙවනවා, ජනතාවට දඩ ගහනවා, ජනතාව බිල් ගෙවනවා හැරෙන්න ජනතාවට ජීවත් වෙන්න පුළුවන් කමක් නැහැ.
Tragic road accident in Kilinochchi, 22 people injured. Landslide warnings issued for 5 districts. Thunder showers later today. On to those stories in detail. 4 people lost their lives and another 22 were injured in a motor accidents reported from Padukka, Kilinochchi and Horana. 2 of the deceased were pedestrians.
A bus travelling from Colombo to Jaffna met with an accident in Kilinochchi, injuring 22 people. The accident took place when the bus overturned while trying to avoid colliding with a cow that was crossing the road near the 248th post of Kilinochchi at around 4:40 am. The police said that 32 passengers were travelling in the bus at the time of the accident. Among the 22 injured is an infant. Hospital sources said that the condition of one person is serious. The police said that the driver of the bus was arrested on suspicion of the incident. Two young men died in a motor accident that took place in the Tuttiripiti area on the Padukka-Colombo main road. Sri Lanka police said a car had attempted to overtake a bus. However, it has collided with a motorcycle that was pushed off for another 25 meters. The 2 young men who was on the motorcycle at the time of the accident died upon admission to the Homagama Base Hospital. The deceased were identified as a 22-year-old and a 24-year-old from Ratnapura. Sri Lanka police said that excessive speed on the part of the motorcycle and the car was the cause of the accident. The driver of the car was arrested and he is scheduled to appear at the Homagama Magistrates Court today.
In more local news, the families of the disappeared protested opposite Diyatoyana in Battaramulla on Monday.
The families of the disappeared protested, demanding justice and closure. Later, MP Rohini Vijayaratna arrived at the protest site. The protesters handed over a letter to the MPs.
The previous government said that they would give 6,000 rupees per month and allocated 500 million rupees, but only 11 million was paid. After that, Basil Rajapaksha allocated 300 million and said he would give 100,000 of it, but not a single person was paid. Justice Minister said that 100,000 is not sufficient and that 200,000 is needed, but not even that was given. So they should allocate money from this budget.
The government had given certain promises regarding certain events that took place in history, but they have a request regarding this non-implementation. These people are asking the Minister of Justice to be informed about it. He discussed about it and said that if there is any possibility to do something about this, they will do it.
A group of unemployed graduates also engaged in a protest opposite the Diyatoyana. They urged that they will not get jobs due to the wrong information provided by the Public Service Provincial Councils and the Ministry of Local Government. The opposition leader was also briefed about their problem.
Meanwhile, Reverend Father Jeevantha Peris and the national organizer of the Youth for Change movement, Lahiru Veerasekara, visited the remand prison in Colombo to inquire into the well-being of IUSF convener Wasantha Mudalige and Venerable Galwava Siridhamma Thero.
Wasantha Mudalige සහ සිරිධම්ම හාමුදුරුවෝ ඉදිරි
Wasantha Mudalige and Siridhamma Thero stepped forward to fight against the economic crimes in the country and the injustice that followed, leaving the masses starving. This struggle was represented by many segments of society. It was a true people's struggle, but Wasantha and Siridhamma Thero are still under arrest as an act of revenge against the people. They have still failed to file charges against them. This is a clear violation of their human rights.
මේ පැහැදිලිවම ඔවුන්ගේ මානව හිමිකම් උල්ලංඝනය වීමක්. මේ ශිෂ්‍යයා
If they believe they can hold these two individuals through the PTA and certain bail conditions, that is a joke. It has to be proven already. They should be released immediately. If not, we will rally the people to launch another struggle for their release. This is an arbitrary arrest and detention. It goes against true law.
ඉස්සරහට ඒ නිසා මේක ඉතාම අත්නෝමතික සිරගත කිරීමක්, අත්නෝමතික රඳවා ගැනීමක්, සාමාන්‍ය ශිෂ්ට සම්පන්න නීතියට පිටින් කරපු රඳවා තබා ගැනීමක්.
Electricity trade unions oppose the proposed electricity tariff hike.
විදුලි බල මල්ලේ සියලුම වෘත්ති සමිති මේ විදුලි බිල වැඩි කිරීමට අපි ආණ්ඩුවට කියනවා ඒක වැඩි කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. රටේ මැති ඇමතිවරු සැප ගන්න ගමන් මේ රටේ
All trade unions of the CEB oppose this tariff hike. We will not allow this to happen. The MPs and Minister of the government enjoy all the luxuries while the people suffer. Ranil Wickramasinghe has decided to sell the national resources via the budget. 52 institutions are to be given away. Adani was to be given telecom. Adani has called to relax labour laws in the country, citing that those laws are powerful.
අදාන් සමගම පැහැදිලිවම කිව්වා ආණ්ඩුවට කම්කරු නීති රීති උලක් රටේ බලවත්. එසා ඒව ලීල් කරන්න ඕන අපට රිංගල යන්න පුළුවන් විදියට දැන් ඔය කම්කරු දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව සමාගමට දෙන්නේ ඒකට. එසා රටේ ජනතාවට කිසිම සහනයක් නැහැ.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan Parliament on Monday expressed concern over electricity tariffs. The electricity tariff was increased once. It is announced that the electricity tariff will increase again in 2 stages. The people cannot bear this burden. The chairman of the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has said no to this tariff increase. What is the stance of the government on the matter? Will you increase tariffs or will you be humane towards the people? I demand that you withdraw this decision. The people have fallen from the frying pan to the stove. The matter of concern is that they are going to be there forever. Everyone must think from the side of the people. Increasing electricity tariffs will inconvenience everyone. I request that the government provide relief to the people. The budget 2023 has proposed to take over the debt accumulated by 52 state-owned enterprises to the treasury. Therefore, it is unjust to increase the tariff to cover the CEB's previous losses, because the budget proposes for the treasury to take over the debt. Then those institutions will not have debt. Do not increase the tariff to cover the losses in the past. The people are finding it difficult to survive. The electricity crisis in the country is worsening. I will not justify the fact to increase the tariff. Sri Lanka has the highest unit production cost in the region when it comes to electricity generation. The minister will be apprised and tomorrow a detailed explanation will be provided. We are told that the CEB will be divided and the power plants will be sold. This is becoming a land of auctions. My question is simple. Does the government have a mandate to divide the CEB into 8 divisions? They came to power promising to protect the state institutions. The IMF also said that the government must have a mandate. Do not make assumptions on a newspaper article. The cabinet has not even decided on that. It is a news report. It has not happened. Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara said that the government has not proposed to recover past losses of the Ceylon Electricity Board from a tariff revision as stated by the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka. He said the proposal that was presented was for an automatic cost-reflective tariff mechanism to be implemented to supply uninterrupted power and to recover the current loss cost of the power supply. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Committee on Public Accounts, Kabir Hashim, told Parliament that the Auditor General has recommenced that a criminal investigation be launched into the sugar tax scam.
Chairman of the Committee on Public Accounts, Kabir Hashim, said that the Auditor General has made 13 separate observations on the sugar tax scam and the tax revenue of 16 billion rupees was due to the government. He told the House that though the tax on a kilogram of sugar was reduced by almost 49 rupees, the price of sugar was not reduced, resulting in a disadvantage to the people, while imports increased by 200%. Chairman of the Committee on Public Accounts, Kabir Hashim, said that the Auditor General called for the CID to conduct the investigation, while COPA will provide all the evidence required for the inquiry.
Taking a look at another headline-making story, the 4th anniversary celebration of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Media Centre was held this morning. Former Sri Lankan Minister Basil Rajapaksa said that the time is appropriate for elections in the country. He was speaking at the 4th anniversary celebration of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Media Centre. Basil Rajapaksa was grateful to the masses who supported the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna to secure victories in the recent elections and apologized for not being able to meet the expectations of the people and in its entirety. However, he said that the setbacks will be addressed and steps will be taken to provide solutions. Basil Rajapaksa stressed that he will continue to remain in politics, though he is now not eligible to be part of governance or parliament through the adoption of the 21st Amendment to the Constitution. He also said he is happy for not having to enter Parliament again and commenced the work undertaken by the President.
ඒ තෝරා ගැනීම නිවැරදි කියලා මට හිතෙනවා දැන් මොකද අපි හැමෝටම අපේ
In a weather update for this afternoon, Sri Lanka's Met Department warned that many areas will experience rainfall during the evening on Monday. At the same time, the landslide early warning issued for multiple areas across 5 districts remains in effect. The National Building Research Organisation said that the Sitawaka Divisional Secretariat in the Colombo District, Nagara Divisional Secretariat in the Galle District, Ingriya Divisional Secretariat in the Kaluthura District, Yatiyantota and Warakapala Divisional Secretariats in the Kegol District and the Ratnapura and Alapath Divisional Secretariats in the Ratnapura District was issued with landslide early warnings. Heavy rains of over 75 millimeters can be experienced in the western Sabaragamu provinces and in Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. At the same time, the Met Department urged the general public to take necessary precautions to protect themselves from gale winds and lightning. The Azamara Quest luxury cruise ship reached the port of Hambantota on Monday with 454 passengers and 402 staff on board. The Azamara Quest luxury cruise ship is the second cruise ship to reach the port of Hambantota after arriving in Colombo last week. Passengers aboard the ship are expected to travel to the Yala National Park and other tourist attractions in the south of Sri Lanka on Monday. Azamara Quest is an R-class cruise ship that is 181 meters in length and 25.46 meters wide, with a tonnage of 30,277. Many three-wheel drivers were stationed at the port premises since this morning to provide transportation facilities to the tourists.
No, I think the port itself is, very clean, organized, structured. it's not a typical cruise ship port, but it's more lined up for car carriers and containers and so on. But for us, it's clean and beautiful. So much better than many other ports we've been to.
The human-elephant conflict is an issue that has affected the lives of rural Sri Lankans for many decades, and a proper solution is yet to be provided to the issue. The following report is from Bakamuna Polonnaruwa. People in Attanakadavala Bakamuna in Polonnaruwa have been in the receiving end of many wild elephant attacks for many years. Wild elephants from the Dambulu Forest Reserve destroy cultivations, which is the main source of income for the villagers. A herd of wild elephants destroyed a paddy storage facility belonging to the farmers of Attanakadavala. The only request of these villagers is a solution to this issue. The Sirasa Shakti book donation program, which distributes stationery items including exercise books for school children, continues on Monday. You can now donate books and other stationery items for school children in need around the country to the Echelon Square in Colombo from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. until the 24th. We're now joined by Newsfirst's Ranmali Nanakara for more details.
Christmas is a joyful and a festive season. It is the season of giving and sharing. And as we celebrate Christmas this year, the Sirasa Shakti Potyatra is ready to distribute stationery items, books and other school supplies to children in rural areas. And we at News First want to invite you all to come and be a part of this great cause. We are at the Echelon Square in Colombo, so you all can come and donate these school supplies to the Sirasa Christmas zone, and keeping in mind the true spirit of Christmas. I'm Ranmali Nanayakar reporting for News First.
In more local news, Sri Lanka police discovered 7 packets of narcotic pills in a canteen at a school in Gampaha. 38 narcotic pills were discovered on the school premises, which is located in the Malbatu Hiripitiya area in Gampaha. Police arrested a woman over the discovery of the narcotic pills and said the investigations were underway. Here's a look at more local news in brief. The Police Special Task Force arrested 2 men for peddling drugs targeting school students. STF personnel discovered 400 narcotic pills from the possession of the suspects. Firefighters are battling a fire that broke out at a private factory in Galborella, Kalaniya on Monday morning. Sri Lanka police said that 6 fire trucks are in scene to battle the blaze. The cause of the fire is unknown. A 14-feet-long python was discovered from a paddy field in Madolsima Badulla on Monday morning.
The Say We Care movement, supported by the Coca-Cola Foundation, that will start to help those who are badly affected by the economic crisis in the country, is underway. Under the program representing the Western Province, dry rations were distributed in Beruwala. The Say We Care movement, supported by the Coca-Cola Foundation, gives priority to pregnant mothers, disabled individuals and orphan children while distributing dry rations. The dry rations will be sufficient for nearly 2 months.
In your latest updates from Iran, Iran's morality police, which is tasked with enforcing the country's Islamic dress code, is being disbanded.
Iran's Attorney General Mohammad Jafar Montazeri has announced that Iran's morality police is being disbanded. Iran has seen months of protests over the death of a young woman in custody. Control of the force lies with the Interior Ministry and not with the judiciary. Montazeri also told the Iranian parliament the law that requires women to wear hijabs would be looked at. Even if the morality police is shut down, this does not mean the decades-old law will be changed.
In some news from the United States, the White House has condemned the former President Donald Trump after he called for the termination of the US Constitution.
Former US President Donald Trump called for the termination of the Constitution to overturn the 2020 election and reinstate him to power Saturday in a continuation of his election denialism and pushing off of fringe conspiracy theories. Trump's post came after the release of internal Twitter emails showing deliberation in 2020 over a New York Post story about material found on Hunter Biden's laptop. Trump announced his third presidential bid last month and is still widely considered the leader of the Republican Party. Party leaders had hoped that the former president would drop his election denialism rhetoric after lackluster results in midterms.
In some interesting international news, square kilometre array telescope construction has got underway in the West Australian outback.
Unparalleled access to the stars once only dreamed of by astronomers is set to become a reality as construction of the square kilometre array telescope officially begins. Situated deep in the outback of Western Australia, more than 100,000 antennas will be built across 74 kilometres in the Murchison region on Wajari country as part of the $3 billion project involving 16 countries. The structures are set to provide answers to some of humanity's oldest and most enduring questions about our universe. SK Lowside Construction Director Anthony Schnickel said the telescope was the first of its kind.
Finally, in your sports news, Monday's round of 16 games at the 2022 FIFA World Cup are quite the contrast. The first game of the day looks evenly matched between Croatia and Japan, while Brazil is a big favourite in the afternoon game against South Korea. Gladiators retained the Abu Dhabi T10 crown with an emphatic 37-run win over newcomers New York Strikers in the season 6 final at the Zaid Cricket Stadium on Sunday.
At the KTN, that's the වැඩියෙන් cyber අවකාශයේ කලබන වුවත් සලකුණ. News First YouTube channel අදම subscribe කරන්න. News First ජනතාව සමග.
News First News Alert ඔබේ ජංගම දුරකථනයටත් ඔබ ඩයිලොග් පාරිභෝගිකයෙක් නම් English Alert සේවාව ලබා ගැනීමට NFU ලෙසත් Singlish Alert සේවාව ලබා ගැනීමට.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Lunchtime News here on TV1. For more details on these stories, you can log on to our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk.